life was pretty freaking good for me, even on my bad days. But I had to fight for that. I'm a fighter. That's my mentality. I'm just a fighter. What is yours? Everybody's got one. I want you to think about it for a second. What is are you the cheerleader? Are you the servant heart? Are you the inspirer? Are you the encourager? I'm the fighter. I fight for everything. I think life is a fight. Some people don't, and that's cool. Some things you're going to hear today, you're like, oh, she's crazy. She's crazy. She's crazy. You take what you want, and you go make it yours today. But here's the thing. See that pouty face up there? Can we see it a little bit? The truth is, most of us are like that. When life happens, we get pouty. We get whiny, we complain, we sit there. Now I may call you out a few times and be like, raise your hand. You ever feel like that? This might be you. I'm going to go through a couple here. Maybe you're sleeping on life right now. You're sleeping. I tell stories with pictures. It's what I do. Are you sleeping on something in your life right now? You just zonked out. You're just going through the motions. You're on autopilot. You're not even present. Or maybe you got somebody else driving your life. Somebody else in the front seat making all the decisions for you. Maybe not now, maybe in the past, and you're figuring it all out right now. One of these, I want to know which one resonates with you. You don't have to say it out loud. I just want you thinking in your head a lot, or writing it down. Take your notes. You know, somebody else is in control of your life. My son in the back seat, hold on for dear life. He doesn't know what's going to happen with somebody else driving him. Or you've given up. F it. It's too late. I'm too old, too fat, I'm too tired, I'm too in debt. I say all those words. I say it all. I got permission, right? You've just given up. There it goes. Good thing I got a loud voice. You've just given up. Or you're seriously, what's the point? What's the point? Things keep happening to me. This is my life. Black cloud over my head, raining down over me. What's the point? Or you're that person just waiting for that next big wave to take you out. Or you're running away from it and you're avoiding it. You keep putting it on the back burner, pretending it'll just go away on its own, but it's coming for you. But you're just hoping and wishing it away. Which one can you relate to? I know how preachers feel now when they got baby crying, that going off, no microphone, this and that. Woo! Right? Which one can you relate to? Can you relate to any of those? Are you sleeping? Are you stuck? Are you settling? Are you surviving? Yes, no, maybe. I've been all of them. I've been stuck. Ever been stuck in your life where you're just like on repeat, hamster cycle? You are just living a treadmill life. Doing the same thing over and over. Tomorrow, 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 tomorrow. Am I the only person? Or you're surviving, you're doing just enough to get by. I mean, that's exhausting. Don't worry, parking was like crazy for all of us too. Welcome. I'm Robyn Tanner. I'm learning. I was in the doctor's office the other day. I get hijacked by squirrels every now and then, and they're like, Mrs. Tanner, and I'm like, I've been waiting 30 minutes. I've been Thrasher for 19 years, so I'm learning who Mrs. Tanner is. Whew. All right. So anytime you get stuck somewhere, right, we tend to want to skip it over because we don't know the answer. But guess what? You're not always going to know the answer. My job today, ladies, is my mission is to get you to live alive. Right? It's to fight for your future self. To fight for your future self, for that little girl dream inside, or that idea that you have now, or that pain or that problem, that pressure that you're experiencing right now. That is my mission in life. Like, I got this crazy dream. I mean, I had told my husband, before you marry me, you can marry my crazy dreams too. Because this is not going away. It eats me, it's inside. It's got to come out. And I believe that every single one of you today has something inside you that you want released. That is the life that you really want to live. And some of us aren't living it. Doesn't mean that life is bad. I want to be a New York Times bestselling author 7 times. What do I got to do to get there? That's my crazy little girl dream that God put in me. It will happen. It's not gonna happen this year. What are the steps I gotta do to get there? What is your crazy dream? What is your crazy idea? What is your pain or your problem? It can be positive or negative, ladies, right? You could be here today fighting for something that is good, that you want to happen, to move forward, to elevate, to grow, or it could be, I've gotta figure this out. I need some self-awareness and understanding. I need connection. I need to know how to overcome this, how to fight this, how to step into this, how to be better. And that is why I'm here, to just wake you up if you can't tell. That's why I'm first. Wake you up, give you some of this. I've only had a little bit of pre-workout, Lord. Only had a little bit of pre-workout. I want to take you to your happy place. Let's go to your happy place. Mine is the beach. Anybody else beach people? Yes. I love you. I love you. I love you like my animal people. All right, we got some mountain people, yes. Lake people, yes. All those too, right? City people. Yeah, I know. The city, it's just, yeah, of course, Supriya. Yes, of course. But you got a happy place, right? Why is it that we're trained that like life can't be like that all the time? With bills and responsibilities and obligations. Why can't it be? Why can't we have it all? Is there anyone in the room that feels like you can't have it all? Like you can have this, but you can't have that. You can have the body, but you can't have the marriage. You can have the marriage, but you can't have the body. You can't have the good health. You can have the business, but you can't have the body. You can have the bank account, but your marriage is stale and dried up. You have the anxiety, and you got all the money, but you don't know what to do with it. You get what I'm saying? Like we think we can't have it all. Why can't we? We can. And that's what I'm here to help you do, because I want you to live life alive. And I said in the beginning, I'm a fighter. So for those of you who's coming, I'm a fighter. You can't tell, I'm a fighter. But I've learned through this process what it means to become a warrior. You can spend your whole life fighting. And to become a warrior mentality is a spirit that you have inside that affects others in a positive way, that lifts them up. And we need people that are fighters. And I believe every single one of you has a fighter inside you at different levels. It might be here today, it might be here today, it might be like mine today. And I want to bring that out. I'll tell you a funny story. Anybody have we got parents in the house today? Okay. Parenting fail? And if you're not a parent, everybody have like a major parenting fail. I don't think you've been initiated into parenthood if you haven't had a major parenting fail. Or maybe you dropped the ball, like a big drop the ball with like somebody, and it wasn't funny then, but now it's funny. All right, it's one of those stories. So it was my son. He was about 3 years old, my daughter was about 5, and we were gonna go swim at the community pool. This is when I lived back in Georgia. I don't have a picture of it, trust me, I spent 2 days looking for a picture. And so you're suiting them up when they're 3 years old, right? You got the sunscreen all over them, they got to put on their trunks and the swim vest and the swimmies and fill up 2 bags of toys to go to the pool like you go on for 2 days, but it's really just, what, an hour with kids? And so we get into the car, and it was just around the corner, it was just around the bend. So I just let my kids hop into the back seat, and then they hold on to the back of, the car seat headrest, right? Anybody else do that? Am I the only mom? Like, because, I totally would judge moms now, dude. You shouldn't. You're the only mom. So we get into the car, and we're driving down to the community pool. Like 30 seconds later, my daughter's like, Mom, Dylan, he wasn't in the car. So I made a U-turn real quick, came back, opened up the garage door. He's standing there frozen with his arms out, holding his baggies with his swimmies on. And his face was like fear and anxiety and panic and rejection, and she left me and she doesn't love me, and oh my God, what's going through his poor, just screaming and crying. The look on his face, you would have thought I left him for dead. Terrible mom. Like he lived. He's a black belt now. So it would only be a few months later where I was actually left for dead. And I would experience that same fear and panic and rejection and loneliness alone. Just a few months later. I had a pretty perfect life. Husband, the house, the car, 2 kids, the dog and the cat. great body, great health. It was amazing. I was banging a bikini with six-pack right after having 2 kids. It was awesome. I was doing CrossFit 2 hours a day. It was amazing. I was running circles around the people at the gym that were half my age. I was 36 years old and run a marathon. Did Tough Mudders. Best shape of my life. Best shape. And then everything changed. It seemed like overnight. And one day I was down crawling on the floor on my hands and knees. On a floor much like that, I could remember staring at the grains of the wood, the cherry and the brown, and the different ways that it glowed, and my tears staining it, and how hard it was on my hands and knees. It indented on my kneecaps, and my palms were red from crawling. I went from CrossFit and marathons and running and being in the best shape of my life to bam, nothing, gone, in an instant. Over the course of 6 weeks, I would fight through 8 different doctors, fighting for myself that something was wrong, something was going on with me. You don't go from running around doing CrossFit for 2 hours. Everybody ever do CrossFit? Do a marathon? Anybody ever do a marathon? Yeah. Run a Tough Mudder half marathon? Heck yeah. Just going to the gym to do Zumba, right? Gone. Couldn't walk. I was taken out. I was crawling on my hands and knees. And I would go to doctor after doctor after doctor. I spent a week in the hospital. I went to physical therapy. I went to a neurologist, orthopedics, you name it. You work out too much. There's nothing wrong with you. You look fine. Go stick your feet in hot water. It's just hormones. Just rest. Here, morphine, 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 steroids, steroids, steroids. Take this pill, do this. You'll be fine. It's all in your head. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up! I couldn't get up. Don't you think I would get up if I could get up? I had 2 babies. A mother would get up for her babies if she could get up for her babies. I felt crazy. I looked fine on the outside. I didn't have a broken leg or a bloody arm. Nobody could see the pain I had inside. Nobody could see what was going on. Maybe there's been a time in your life where you had a pain inside. Maybe something today. Nobody knows it. It's invisible. Only you know. And you carry it with you every day. You fight through it every day. Or you've told people and they've dismissed you and rejected you and overlooked you and forgot you like I did with my son that day. So you fight quietly, or you just give up, throw your hands up in the air, and you live the treadmill life. One night, about 6 weeks in, I slithered my way out of bed. And when I mean slithered, I mean slithered. Literally rolled out of my king-size bed in the middle of the night. The pain was so bad, I couldn't take it. My then husband was laying in bed next to me, snoring. He didn't believe me. He was the one telling me to get up. You're milking it. So I crawled my way to my bathroom jacuzzi, the big nice one, right? That we like to put Epsom salt in and light the candles and have the wine. No, just me. And I filled it up with hot, steaming water. And I drowned myself in it. The pain. I just soaked in it and soaked in it and soaked in it. Everything about my life, all of the pain. Was I crazy? Was it in my head? What was I going to do with it? How was I going to get through? Who was going to listen to me? Was I making it all up? I don't know how long I stayed in there. But my then husband found me on the bathroom floor when he woke up for work the next day. I was naked, laying on the cold, hard tile floor, shivering and cold. And he said, "Why didn't you wake me up?" I said, "I guess the pain wasn't that bad." What was the point? For 6 weeks I'd been fighting and nobody believed me. That day changed everything. you ever done that? Have you shrunk yourself? Your pain, have you dismissed it? Have you minimized it? Because it's not that bad. Somebody else has it worse than me. Nothing's really wrong with me. Even dismiss your joy and your happiness and your excitement for something. Because you don't think you're boasting or bragging or arrogant. But you worked really hard for it, but you shrunk yourself anyways. That night I called a ninth doctor. Nine doctors. CT scans, MRIs, blood work, ultrasounds, x-rays, you name it. Nothing's wrong with you, nothing's wrong with you, nothing's wrong with you. You're fine. Ninth doctor. Within 12 hours, I met a man I call Sad Eyes. And he walked into the radiology room, and he had Tom Selleck hair, and he was so good looking. So good looking. I thought Tom Selleck was good looking. Anybody watch Tom Selleck? Tom Selleck, go Google him right now if we don't know who Tom Selleck is. Just imagine a good-looking guy walking in for you. And he had that beard, that salt and pepper beard. He had such sad eyes. And he came over to the table that I was laying on as they were like taking the jelly off of me. And he held my hand. And for the first time in 6 weeks, I was heard. And he said, "You are sick inside. One more minute and you will be paralyzed, and one more day you will be dead. We have to take you into emergency surgery right now. Right now. You have an infection growing in your spine and it's traveling to your brain. It is in your bones, it is in your blood, and we got to get it out." Within minutes, 6 weeks, I had waited, I had fought. And within minutes, I had seven white coats. 7 white coats surrounding me like a science project. And I said, "Could I have a second opinion?" I got 2 babies. And they wheeled me in. I want you to think about a place in your life right now, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, that might feel dead to you, dormant, infecting you. Relationships, finances, what feels dead? Your marriage, your friendships, your relationship with God, your relationship with your kids, your relationship with yourself, with the woman in the mirror. Your self-esteem, your confidence, your courage. Is there something in your life that feels dead? It's right here infecting you, that's growing, that's spreading, that's seeping into other areas of your life, because that's what it was doing to me. And that's how I think we get stuck. That is just a moment of my life. I'm clearly alive. I'm not paralyzed. I'm more than survived. But we get stuck there. We get stuck, we settle, we survive. I could be on the couch. I could be with a walker. I could have a handicap sticker. I could have made those choices. But I chose to fight. I didn't wake up from surgery to go, okay, I'm just going to take a bunch of medicine for the rest of my life and cry on the couch about what just happened to me. Life is going to happen. Has life ever happened to you? Like that. Like that. I totally do that. Let me say that like that. You know, like it happens. Like I didn't get notice. Yes, I knew something was wrong, but I was dismissing it and shrinking it. But I kept fighting. And dismiss and shrink and then keep fighting, put it off. Anybody put things off? This is our future life we should be fighting for. I didn't take many pictures of me in the hospital. I was alone. I'll talk about quarantine later. That's a real quarantine. But when I came out of surgery, my battle was just beginning. I had just won one fight and then boom, I got hit with another. Just everything's good, everything's gold golden, and then boom, something else comes. Most of us get stuck there. Most of us settle. Most of us just think, this is it, this is life, this is the cards I've been dealt. Any of you ever felt like that? Or maybe you know somebody like that. Maybe it's in your job, or your team. So we're gonna try something today because I gotta wake you guys up, right? I'm gonna wake you guys up. When they were yelling at me to get up, I had to get up. I had to use a chair, I had to crawl up the wall. I had to rise up. And I wanna try something with you today. As we go through this whole entire day, I want you to think about where in your life you need to rise up. So I'm gonna get you to talk to me because I'm gonna wake you up. Because Karen and Lisa don't wanna come up here and talk and you guys are half asleep, all right? That's why I brought cookies to give y'all sugar. What are we gonna do today? Oh, that sucked. Okay, come on. Let's go, ladies. All right, rise up. Every time I say rise up, you're gonna say,
rise up.
That's a little better. All right, let's try it again. What are we gonna do today?
Rise up.
What are we gonna do tomorrow?
Rise up.
What are we gonna do in our physical life?
Rise up.
What are we gonna do with our workouts?
Rise up.
What are you gonna do in your marriage?
Rise up.
Oh, come on, ladies. What are you gonna do in your singlehood? If you're single, what are you gonna do?
Rise up.
There you go. Come on. What are you gonna do in your insecurities?
Rise up.
Oh, come on. We gotta get louder like that. We gotta fight. What are you gonna do in your confidence?
Rise up.
What are you gonna do in your courage?
Rise up.
What are you gonna do in your pain?
Rise up.
I could go all day. So whatever that word is for you, you gotta rise up. So anytime today you feel in it, anything I say, anything they say, what?
Rise up.
All right. That's a little bit. So we're gonna pick our fight. All right. I'm gonna go through this. We're gonna pick our fight. So I want you to think about it. You probably already thought about it in the beginning. I want you to get it in your head. What is the thing? What is the thing right here? I was fighting for that thing to be free, to listen, right? I had to listen. I'd be dead if I didn't. Imagine I didn't call the 9th doctor. Minute I'd be paralyzed. A day I'd be dead. 38,000 was my white blood cell count. That means nothing to some of us. It's almost 4 times the limit of what your body is supposed to have. Human error missed it 6 weeks earlier. They sent me home from the hospital with an infection that could have been cured with antibiotics. I struggle for the rest of my life now. They took out part of my spine. I am missing part of my spine, and I have Eeyore here, who is about 70 to 75% dead leg, and I am a fitness trainer. Had I not made that one more phone call and advocated and fought for myself, sometimes it's just one more, ladies, one more day, just go one more day. On my refrigerator it says always go one more day, but it's gotta be the right fight. You gotta pick the right fight. Some of us fight to just stay stuck and complacent. Some of us are fighting for where you used to be. I used to be this, so I wanna go back to that. I used to be like high school. I used to be this in college. Let it go. You're never gonna go back there, nor do you want to. You are here. And some of you are fighting to stay here even though you don't even like the life that you have. Remember, we want to go to our happy place. So pick your fight. That's the first thing that we've got to do is listen, wake up that urge. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Question everything about your current life right now. Question it. Question the you know what out of it. What do you need to eliminate and what do you need to elevate? Now here's the thing. When I came out of that fight, remember my picture perfect life? The house, the car, the dog, the husband, the body. Guess what? On the inside, it wasn't so perfect. It was pretty messy and pretty empty. And it was a facade. And I was hiding in plain sight, and I was lying to myself every single day, and I was doing things I wasn't proud of. Deceitful things. Lies to myself, lies to others. It damaged me for a long time. So I had to start coming clean with that. And I think a lot of times in our lives, we're scared to answer the questions because it means we've got to start taking ownership and responsibility for why we are where we're at. Even if it was, I didn't choose to have an infection bubbling up inside of me, but here I am. God didn't save me, I didn't live so that I could continue to look in the mirror every day and lie to myself and live a life I didn't want to live anymore. So I had to start fighting that battle as well, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I had to get myself right. I had to keep questioning, what did I need to eliminate? What did I need to elevate in my life? And I want to ask you of that today when you go home. Think about this. What do you want to elevate in your life? If you think much more about what you want to bring in, it's so much easier to not worry about what I'm losing, what it's costing me, what I'm giving up. Think about all the good that you're going to get, that you're going to add and pour in. Because remember, you bring you to everywhere. And if there's more good inside of you, guess who is going to be affected in a positive way? Everybody you touch, every room you walk in, your job, your husband, your best friend, your parents, your kids, everybody. And by the way, you can't see that picture that great, but that is my daughter giving that look like, you lying. Seriously, no lies. You have to surrender. And here's the cool thing. We think we just gotta, I already told you, let go of the used to be's. Let go of what was. Let go of what happened. It happened. You were here. Doesn't mean I didn't go through years of counseling and therapy. Doesn't mean I didn't have to get help and ask for help and receive help and practice it daily. But you got to surrender the old, the excuses, the bad stories, all the BS in your life, all the lies, all the limitations. You got to let it go. You got to be willing to let go of that life to step into the new life. But the biggest thing is surrendering to the path ahead. Nobody actually wants to surrender to the path ahead. How many of you have ever been on a diet? You are lying if you don't raise your hand. You ever been on a diet, tried a diet, thought about a diet, and then how many of you tried to make it your own and said, I'm going to do part of it, but then I'm going to do it this way? Yeah. How'd that go for you? It's like, I'm going to follow the roadmap, kind of, and I'll kind of get to my destination. We don't want to surrender to the process. Why? Because it's unknown, it's scary, it's uncertain, it's fearful. Will it work? I've never been here before. How will I feel? What will I do? You got to surrender. When I got out of surgery, I had 3 huge tubes coming out of me to get out the rest of the infection because it wasn't enough to just go, but they can't just do surgery and get it out and send me on my way. It was a liter of infection in me. Think of a Mountain Dew liter of green gook. So I came out with 3 tubes, couldn't walk, and they wanted me to get out of bed and take a step? What? But you just fixed me. It was emergency surgery. I'm alive. Now there was a new fight? Oh, and we really don't know what's wrong with you either still yet. So we got to keep you, which we kind of already knew, and grow it and figure out what the infection is. So in the meanwhile, you're going to take 3 different types of IV medications until we figure it out. They didn't even know the plan and the process, and they wanted me to trust them and believe them. And then in less than 12 hours, I was septic. I was sick. It was in my blood. And I was dying. I had just come out of almost dying to left for dead, almost dying, to now I'm septic. It's where it attacks your organs and your organs start shutting down. So I was put into ICU. And the fish tank where they have the sliding door and they can see you and only the nurses get to come in and the doctors with the hazmat. That's real quarantine for 7 days in ICU until they could figure it out and get me stable and get me healthy. And then that wasn't enough. I had to learn how to walk again and do 6 months of PT. And if that wasn't enough, I had to have a PICC line in my arm to my heart and give myself IV drugs for 3 months, twice a day, that made you feel worse than you already did. No energy, lethargic. How am I supposed to surrender to that process? Well, easy. I wanted to hold my babies again. I wanted to be strong again. I wanted to be healthy again. I had to surrender to that path even though it was unknown and scary and hard, and it sucked. It really sucked. The surgery was a breeze of that, and they knocked me out. So the next thing I want you to think about is take a minute to think about why or why not you haven't given yourself permission. What's holding you back? Is it fear? Is it the unknown? Is it you have to keep up the success? Is it you would have to let go of something in your life that, oh my God, what would people think, and you're worried about it? Can you give yourself permission today, not tomorrow, not on Monday, today, to start surrendering something? that is no longer serving you and certainly does not serve your future self? Can you give yourself permission to fight for your future self, to surrender to the process ahead, even though I don't know what it looks like, even though I don't know how it's gonna turn out, even though I don't know how I'm gonna get there, even though I don't have the money, even though my husband's not gonna wanna go to therapy, even though I've gotta lose 50 pounds, even though I'm gonna go home and drink a bottle of wine tonight by myself and Netflix binge and scroll on the phone and seek something that isn't ever gonna really fill me up. Can you surrender that? Can you question that? That's how we start to wake that fire inside. Am I speaking the truth? Rise up.
Rise up.
Come on. Rise up. I want you to think about that because that's how you prepare your warrior. That is how you prepare your warrior. This is like the boot camp for your brain. All right? How are we feeling so far? Good? We're getting close. This is boot camp for your brain. This is the fun part because I like beating people up. Anybody like, who are my workout people that love working out? Lisa's looking at me like, I've got this draw of energy with Lisa today. Who hates working out? Like, oh, I don't want to do it. You gotta do something you love. You gotta walk, you can dance, you can swim, you can bike, you can yoga, you can CrossFit. You can do my stuff. You can do anything you want. But you gotta move your body. And we're gonna do that in just a little bit. But this is boot camp for your brain and your beliefs and your body. This is preparing your warrior. So this is the fun part, ladies. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to fight with faith. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about her, your future self. I don't care how old you are. I don't care where you're at. What does she look like? Who is she with? What is she doing? Create her in your mind. Take a minute. Who's helping her? What is she doing? Who is she serving? Who is she impacting? What's her body look like? What's her health? What's her attitude? What's her energy? Where's her heart? Is she winning? Claim her victory now, right now. You've got to see her. If you cannot see her, you cannot become her. You cannot fight for her, for that life. You can open your eyes whenever you're ready. Now, I like to play movie characters. Like I like to teach my people to kind of think of, it's a movie. I call it walk your movie. If you create that movie for your life, you've got to get that vision crystal clear, but you've got to see her. Was anybody able to see her in your mind? Like, can you see yourself? I can see myself as a New York Times best-selling author 7 times. I can see it. I can see me speaking on stages around the United States with Anthony Trucks and my husband standing right there cheering me on in the corner. I can see it. It sounds ridiculous. I can see it. It will happen because I will make it happen because I will fight with a warrior mentality, which you are going to walk out of here with today. But you have to see it. If you need to lose weight, you have to see yourself at a healthy weight. You have to see yourself eating healthy foods. You have to train your body and your beliefs. Then you got to become her. You literally have to become her. This is the easiest one and the fastest one and the best thing I'm going to teach you today, I think. And it's recorded so y'all can actually play it back. You got to become her. Anybody ever need to make a decision, but you're just not sure and you sit in it forever? Raise your hand. Come on, come on. You just sit in it and you think about it. It takes up all your time, all your attention, all your energy. You can't think of anything else. It could be something like a room you need to clean. I mean, I know that sounds silly, right? But like, it could be anything. But it's a decision. Or you know you need to have a hard conversation and you haven't had it up. You keep putting it off, you keep delaying it. What would your future self do? How would she act? Do it. You got to act like her. What would she do? What decision would she make? Would this help her or hurt her? Period. It's really that simple. Next time you have a decision to make, does it make your future life better? Yeah? Do it! Is it scary? Yes. So what? Do it anyways. That's like the second time. Do it anyways. Do it anyways. Do it scared. Do it in spite of. Act like her. Think like her. Become her in your mindset. Because if you, a lot of times, we're acting from a place of lack and need and hunger and thirst, a dry place. We're thinking from where we're at. We're thinking with our wallet. We're thinking with our mindset. We're thinking that nobody else would ever do that, so, But is that the future you see for yourself? You have to act like this person and bring them into here. You have to act with their courage and bring it into here. You have to act with their confidence. You hear me? You get me? Rise up.
Rise up.
Come on, ladies. We got, wait till the workout. It's coming for you. So when you're making a decision for now, forever, no matter what it is, what would she do? What would my future self do? Would she do it? Is it scary? Yes. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in her. And this is the hardest one. This is a place like a moment of me laying in that hospital bed, is protecting and guarding what is already yours. Remember, you've already won. The victory is already yours. Whatever it is that you are fighting today, it's already won. It is waiting on you. I knew I was never going to be the person to succumb to a walker or a wheelchair or a couch and puffed up on medications. I was born a fighter, but I became a warrior. And there's a difference because I had to follow the PT. I had to do the prescription. I had to give myself the IV medication twice a day. I had to protect that future self, my physical body. But not only that, remember, I was doing some things that weren't so healthy. I wasn't living right. And I had to keep reminding myself what that was so that when I got to the victory, it was authentic. An authentic life, a life fully alive. This, ladies, your armor, your protection. This is a cadence that you create in your life, a rhythm to your routine. People call it a schedule. I call it a rhythm. What works for you? You've got to set a rhythm. You can't keep waking up with no agenda. Imagine if I walked into my PT office and he was like, I don't know what we're going to do today. I think we're just going to sit here and talk. What? I'm trying to get strong. I would walk into PT and I was hungry. I wanted to do more. I would ask for more reps, more things to do at home. Let me go back to the gym. What can I do at the gym? Something, anything, give me. I want to get stronger. I want to get better. I want to get healthier. I want to make this right. I want to be better. And I saw so many people whining and complaining and just do it. You ever been to PT? Anybody ever been to PT? And send this thing, And they were just going through the motions and they didn't really want to be there. And you can't go through life going through the motions. You've got to protect. It could be your environment. It could be things at home. It could be your circle of friends. You might need to let some of them go. You might need to level up and get with some people and some women that will help you, what? There you go. You might have to set new standards or boundaries for yourself, right? To protect her. That might mean a schedule, but let's call it a rhythm because that sounds better. You get to decide. Imagine if it all worked out. Imagine if you actually became her and you were living that life, that thing that you walked in with, you don't leave with it today. Imagine if that happy place is your life, that you're traveling, taking vacations, you're in a job you love, you're in a happy relationship, you are healthy, you go into your closet and everything fits. You can eat at any restaurant and not worry about the price on the menu. Has anybody ever done that? You're like, oh no, I'm not getting that because I'm going to get the cheap thing on the menu. And then every now and then you treat yourself to that dinner and you're like, oh, I'll tell you a secret. We did this not too long ago. We went out to dinner for my birthday. It was a big treat. Does anybody ever go out to dinner for your birthday? It's a place you would never normally go, but it's your birthday, so it's your anniversary. $635 dinner. Oh, and I didn't even eat my plate. Has anybody ever done anything crazy like that? But there's people that do it every day. Doesn't that sound ridiculous and absurd to some of us? But to others, we're like, no, this is the life I'm going to live. Running marathons and triathlons sounds absurd to some people, but that might be the life you want to live. Riding a donkey in the Grand Canyon might sound absurd, but some of us want to go do it. You know, right? I'm here for the donkey in the Grand Canyon. She actually wants to run it, and anyways, that's a whole side conversation, but you get what I'm saying. But we don't. We dumb ourselves down because we think, you know, we're gonna get judged, or we don't deserve it, or I don't wanna get on my, but imagine if that life that you want, you get to go do it every day, anytime, whenever you want. You have that freedom. That is living a life, and the only way you do that is you keep fighting for your future self. That's how you get to your victory. But here's the thing. Nobody made me go to PT extra. My doctor wasn't checking up on me to see if I did. Not even my therapist, although he was amazing. You have to pursue your victory. Here is where we get stuck, and we call it stuck, but it's really you never start. We plan it, organize it, we prepare for it, we meal prep. Who's ever meal prep and then you didn't even eat the meal prep? Who's got the calendars and the pretty stickers and the organizers and it's all planned out and it looks great for the year and the month? But you don't even look at it and you go back and you're like, oh my God, all these pages are blank. What the hell did I do all week, you know? You gotta charge ahead. You have to step into it. You actually have to do the work. I call it fight work. You actually have to do the work. You actually have to eat the food to get healthy. You actually have to go run to lose weight. You actually have to sit down on the couch with your husband and hold his hands and say, I love you. What do we need to do? You actually have to go to your boss and ask for the raise. You actually have to apply for the job. You actually have to tell that friend the truth. You have to have the hard conversations. You gotta charge ahead. You gotta face your giants. It's one of my favorite things to say. Whatever your giant is, whatever the thing you're putting off, whatever you're scared of, the only way to build your courage is to do it, perfectly imperfect. You have to step into it and step up. Or you will stay right here forever, stuck and settling and surviving, starting over on the treadmill of life again and again and again. That's a big one, ladies. Mine was going to the mirror. It really wasn't the PT. It really wasn't getting saved and having the tubes and missing part of my spine and the dead leg and the chronic pain, because it hurts every single night. Every single night I'm in pain. But the pain in the mirror was so much worse. 7 years I couldn't look at myself. You gotta face your giant or you can't move forward. You can run, busy, do, but never actually face the giant. You do a bunch of other things but the one thing. Anybody else, can I get a rise up? You just do everything but the thing that you're supposed to do, the thing that will change your life, the thing that will make you better, but not you guys today, because you made it here today to rise up.
Rise up.
Right, come on, rise up.
Rise up.
That's how you keep your promises. That's how you build your self-respect. That's how you have integrity with yourself. Some of us keep breaking promises to yourself, not to others. Usually we break the promises because we're doing so much for other people. That's a whole nother topic I'll have to talk about. You've got to become resilient for it. And I like to say relentless resilience, because it's a never giving up when life happens. Because it will happen again and again and again and again. But each time you're better prepared. Each time you're wiser. Each time you have more energy. Each time you have more courage. Each time you have more confidence. But you got to show up. You got to show up ugly. You got to show up when you're in heartache. You got to show up when you're in grief. You got to show up through death of your loved ones, of a job, of crushed dreams. You got to show up for yourself. There's people that did not show up today. And you know, the old me, even 3 months ago or a year ago, would be like texting them, my clients, where are you? Where you asked for this? Not me. I show up for my coach. Where are you? Why aren't you here? Me today as a coach has grown. I'm not your babysitter. I feel like that we babysit other people in our lives. You can't save anybody else. You can't fight for your kids. You can't do more work than your boss is doing or your manager. You can't do more or force somebody to do something. You gotta fight your fight. And you gotta show up ugly for it. That's how you affect others. That's how you affect change. Not by forcing, not by begging, not by manipulating, not by holding their hand, but by actually letting them go and surrendering. You got to show up for you. It is not selfish. I want women to know it is not selfish to take care of yourself, to work out, to eat healthy, to want to go to the beach by yourself, to read a book instead of watching TV, to go have a girls' weekend or a girls' night. It is not selfish. It is not selfish to do what you want to do. It is not selfish to say no to your kids. It is not selfish for you to show up and take time for you. Just an hour a day. Imagine if it all brought you to that happy place. Imagine if it changed your mentality to where you knew how to show up at the next fight because you could show up ugly, where you could rise up on repeat. Because here's the cool thing. You emerge when you do it enough. You wake up one day, and guess what? Overnight success. You ever hear that term? Overnight success. So in the middle of my PT and in the middle of the PICC line in my arm, does anybody know what a PICC line is? Or if you don't know what a PICC line is where they put it in an IV right here, and it goes to your heart, and you have to give yourself your own IV antibiotics, and you can't take a shower, you can't get it wet, you can't take it off, and you live with it or you die. I choose live with it, but it gets really annoying, and that was really tiring, and I had a walker, and my kids had decorated it with stickers. Remember all the Disney character stickers? If you don't have kids, like Disney characters and the stickers, and they put the tennis balls in the lapel. They made a joke about my walker. Like, we had to make light of it. We had to make fun of it because this was how I got around. And one day, my daughter screamed at me again, much like she did in the car that day when I left my son behind, standing frozen. Mom, you're going about as fast as me. And I didn't even realize it, but I was moving on that walker. I was walking. I hadn't been walking before. I was crawling on that hardwood floor, that same hardwood floor that put the indentations in my knees and the red on my palms and was the face of so many tears for me to get around. It was under my feet. And I was walking faster and faster, and it was overnight success, except it was about 6 months in the making. You just wake up and you're like, oh, the old me would have acted like that. Does anybody know what that feels like, where you recognize your old self versus yourself now? Or you wake up and all that hard work you did, you get on the scale and the numbers move, the pants fit. Or you say no to the 4th glass of wine. Or you stop scrolling and searching for things that will never fill you up inside. You actually say no to people because you don't want to do it out of obligation. Side note, for all of us anybody doing things out of obligation for others that you don't really want to be doing, you're saying yes to things that you really want to say no to. Can I get a rise up?
Rise up.
Oh yeah, we feel it. Well, that's hard to say out loud, isn't it? Do you want somebody to do something for you out of obligation? What would that feel like? I feel obligated. So I'm going to show up for you today because I feel obligated. Not because it's out of my heart, not because I want to, not because I want to be kind, not because I want to serve you or help you or lift you up or support you as a friend or be there for you as a family member. I'm going to do it out of kindness, but I'm obligated to do that. You know how that feels? But when you have built that warrior mentality, when you learn to show up ugly, when you have prepared and you have conditioned yourself and you see her and you've created her and you think like her and you act like her and you're willing to question yourself and surrender your old self and keep fighting for that future self, you emerge as her. You literally claim your victory. You wake up and life is good. You wake up and you have emotional wherewithal and strength to get through those tough times. You can manage your feelings now and not react. You're mentally strong where you're resilient and you'll get up and you'll go for a run even if it's raining outside. that you're gonna do the present, whatever it is for you. But you've built those things. Spiritually, this is your faith in yourself and your belief. You emerge as that person. It's amazing. Has anybody ever, I'm gonna tell you one last story, and then we're gonna move. Who's ready to move?
Rise up.
Rise up, right? We're gonna move. Then we're gonna bring Miss Karen up here. Has anybody ever told you no? You can't. Has anybody ever labeled you?
Yes.
Put you in a box? How's that make you feel? How? Man, this is the day we speak of. Pissed. Angry, right? And then what happens? You get frustrated or bitter or resentful, or we use it as fuel to go forward, to prove them wrong. I'm gonna do it anyways, and you got that attitude about it, right? There's a right way and a wrong way about it. I was told no. So I don't die. I make it through surgery. I'm missing part of my spine. I got Eeyore for a leg. And by the way, that is Eeyore. You know, he's sad and he's tired and he's fatigued and he's a little depressed and he's down in his mindset and he doesn't think that he can do a lot of things. Tigger over here is like ready to go all the time, hooing. So to work these two together in tandem is a daily showing up. And I think a lot of times we feel like that. Tired, depressed, weighed down, anxious. And then the other side of you is energetic and ready to go and intense and excited and hopeful and joyful. But then you're constantly at a war within yourself, within your own body, your own mind, your own heart, your own soul, and then your goals and your dreams and your desires. How is all of that supposed to come out? That's when you wake your warrior. That's when you unleash her. That's when you go from fighting to warrior mentality. That's when you live alive. So I survive that. I gain Eeyore and Tigger. I make it through the PT. I learn to walk again. I fight that fight. I fight the fight in the mirror. I owned it. I went through a horrible process of grief and divorce and crushed dreams. I lost my stepmom who raised me since I was 5. At the same time that I was dying, she was dying of cancer. I survived PTSD and survivor's guilt and all. Why am I here? Why did she die? Why am I here? Why did she die? Back and forth, battling in my brain. And I was then told, you can't run, you can't box, you can't wear high heels, you can't go on roller coasters, you can't, let's see, what else was it? Horseback riding, that's a no-no. Sitting, standing, that's gonna cause you a tremendous amount of pain. Well, what am I supposed to do? You just saved me. You got the infection out. That fighter in me said, no, I don't think so. Three months later, from almost dying, I was holding my babies. I want you to think right now in your life, the time frame of the things that you want to accomplish, haven't accomplished, the things you want to deal, the things that you're healing from, not healing from, the trauma, the pain, the passion, the pursuit, whatever it is, good, bad, ugly. What's that time frame you got in your head? For me, 3 months of not holding my babies, right there, I got to hold my babies. It was awesome. 9 months, I put that barbell above my head. He said I would never do that. 9 months. After surgery, after removing part of my spine, after PT and medicine, and no, you can't. I held the barbell above my head. Where in your life have you accomplished something, overcome something, survived something, gotten through something, achieved something? Where they told you no, and you figured out a way anyways. 5 years later, I ran that second marathon. It was ugly, but I ran it. It took me 5 years. The cool thing, my son, made it to the pool 20 minutes later, was smiling, living a life, completely free, not standing there frozen, scared, left for dead. When these things happen, you gotta dig in. You gotta rise up. Your fighting's gotta go into that warrior mentality to do more. Because everything that you do for your future self is for everybody else in your life. Everything. So what are you gonna do? Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! Rise up! In your confidence. Are you a warrior? I don't believe you. Lisa, do you hear? I don't believe them. You're stuck somewhere right now. I can't even move you forward yet. We're about to move. Where are you stuck in your mind right now? You got to rise up. You got to know that it's possible for you. I lost everything. I gave up everything for a dream. I went homeless. I lived in my gym for 6 months. I lost my car. I was in financial ruin. I got a laundry list of things where I had to rise up. And I stand here today where my life has been built back so much better and beyond what I could ever imagine. Glory to God.
Glory to God.
But I had to rise up. In that bathtub, I had to rise up. Where do you need to rise up today? Is it your marriage? Is it your relationships? Is it your finances? Is it your business? Is it your passion? Is it your attitude right now? Is it your mindset right now? That thing you walked in with, we got to release it today. You got to be vulnerable to let it go. You got to step. You got to move into it. There's a saying, the treasure you seek is in the cave you fear to enter. What you want is already yours. It is up to you whether or not you claim it today. Rise up, ladies.